Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing some POV macro photography, and I've come out early in the morning. It's currently 6 AM. As you can see by that sunrise with loads of clouds in front of the sun as usual. It's really cold right now. It's been really warm in the day, but obviously overnight it gets really cold. So I came out in the morning hoping to find some damselflies or any other subjects, and the reason I'm out in the morning is because insects and other bugs are cold-blooded, so in the morning they're very still because they're cold and they can't move, and then later on when they warm up they can fly away and move more. And it didn't take long to find my first subject. I found a mayfly on that stinger there, and I've got a few bits and bobs in my bag that I'm going to use to make it easier to photograph, so let's cut to that. So I'm going to be using these Koto helping hands, and as you can see I've got a background card on one of the helping hands, and the other one I'm going to put the stinger on that the mayfly's on. So I'm just going to get my little scissors out and then cut the stinger off and then put it on this crocodile clip here. So as you can see I've got the stinger on this helping hand now with the mayfly on, and the background on the other helping hand in the background. So this makes it a lot easier to photograph rather than trying to get my camera in the stingers where the mayfly was. So yeah, let's go get this shot. Even though I've got the stinger clamped down, the wind is still a bit of a problem and still blowing the mayfly. But I don't think it's too much of a problem, so it should be all right. Hopefully you can see the camera all right. Last time I did a POV video, the camera was pointing at the floor half the time. So every time I take a photo, I'm going to try and adjust the camera just so you can actually see what I'm photographing. For this shot, I think I want to get a portrait of just the eyes. So we'll frame that up nicely now, and then focus just before the eyes are in focus, and then press the shutter to start the focus bracket. I think I'll get a second shot just because I spent so long setting up the helping hands. And for this second shot, I'm going to get a less magnified sort of side angle shot showing off more of the wings. So I'm just going to frame up that shot now and see what that looks like. It doesn't look that good when I'm less magnified, so I'm going to punch in a bit and just focus on the eyes of the mayfly. I'm going to try and get my camera as low as possible here to get a really nice composition. And then focus just before anything's in focus. And then we'll press the shutter button to start our focus bracket. I'm really happy with that shot. The wind was a little bit of a problem, but I think it turned out well in the end. Now I'm finished, I'm going to put the mayfly back, so we're just going to release that crocodile clip with the stinger on, and that will drop the stinger back where I found it. And we'll move on to another subject now. I'm going to have a search in the river now for some damselflies because it's getting a lot brighter, which means the damselflies are getting warmer and they're going to get more active soon. So I haven't actually been to this location in maybe almost a year. So I'm not too sure if there was any damselflies here, but I've been to other locations in the past month and I've seen a few damselflies that's just started to come about. And this place is probably where I photographed most of my damselfly shots, so there should be some here if there's some in other locations nearby. I've just found a fly on this blade of grass here, and it's got a dewdrop on its head, which looks really cool. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a stonefly. I think that's the name. I think the scene looks quite good as it is, so I'm not going to bother using a background and just use the natural environment around it. I might shoot this one with natural light just because I like how it's backlit by the sun, so I'm just going to change my settings here. I'm going to use quite a high ISO to get a high shutter speed, so I'll set it to 800 for now. Put my aperture on f5.6, and then we'll use a shutter speed of at least 1/400 to try and freeze that motion. Okay, that's looking really bright, so I can probably just use ISO 200 to be honest. I'm going to use bracketing mode just so I know I've definitely got one shot in focus here. I'm going to use this bit of grass here as foreground interest, and that will be blurry in the foreground and just make the shot look a lot cleaner. I'm really happy with that shot. I'm glad I used natural light because I was going to be lazy and just use flash and diffuser, but I think natural light was a lot better for that shot. I've just found a small red damselfly, but it's all the way back there on a stinger, which means it's going to be really hard to photograph. So what I'm going to do is use my scissors here to cut the stinger and then put it on this crocodile clip, and then I'll take it out of the river where it's easy to photograph. I've successfully got the damselfly. It doesn't seem to be moving yet, so we'll take it out of the river and start getting some shots. The damselflies flew onto my background card now, so I'm just going to take it to a plant and leave it to rest there. So I think I'll just take it over here to like a blade of grass or something, somewhere a bit protected, and I'll let it chill. There we go, I've put it down there in the grass, and I put it quite low down because if I put it high up, it might be eaten by birds or something, so I think it'll be good there. I'm really happy with that shot. I wasn't too sure if I was going to find a damselfly today because it's still quite early on in the macro season, but yeah, that was a good damselfly to photograph. I really didn't have to move far from my next subject. I've just found a wasp beetle right next to where I photographed the damselfly. So we're going to cut the plant with these scissors, and then we're going to put the plant on this crocodile clip here. So what I like to do is clip the plant with my crocodile clip first, and then I cut below the crocodile clip with my scissors. And then I carefully take the plant, and then I carefully put the helping hand on the magnetic plate. And now I can get to photographing it. The sun's a bit of a problem because I'm in an open field and there's not much shaded area. So I'm having to shade my subject with my back. So I've got my back to the sun at the moment, and that's what's shading the subject. It's not very windy today, but because I'm in an open field, I do get quite a bit of wind, which is a bit annoying. So every now and then I just have to wait for the wind to die down before photographing my subject. I'm really happy with that portrait, and I don't think I've ever got a shot of a wasp beetle before. I might have got one in my whole time doing macro, so I'm going to get a second shot here just because I've never photographed one of these before. And for my second shot, I'm going to go for a slight side angle just to show more of the bug. That should be a solid shot there. There was no wind at all, the bug wasn't moving around, so I was able to get a really clean focus bracket. Just before I put the beetle back, I'm going to flick through my images, make sure the focus bracket looks good, and make sure I've got at least one image with the eyes in focus. And it looks like the eyes are definitely in focus, and the focus bracket is looking clean, so I think that should be a nice shot. I don't usually do this that often, but I don't think I've got a shot of a wasp beetle before, so I wanted to make sure I've definitely got those images, and I have. So we'll put the beetle back now, and what I'm going to do is just unclip this because it's not a stinging nettle, so I can touch it, and I'll put it back exactly where I found it, which was over here. So we'll just leave it there and let it chill. I think I'm just going to keep the helping hands out because I keep putting them away in my bag and then I take them straight back out again. So I'm just wasting time by putting it in and out of my bag. And if you want to buy this helping hand, I'll leave a link in the description along with all the rest of my equipment. I found quite a few stretch spiders along the river, but I've been looking for one that's in sunlight because I want to use natural light and get a shot like I did earlier with that fly. And I found a stretch spider on this blade of grass here that's quite big and it's in some sunlight. It doesn't have loads of sunlight on it, but it's enough to use natural light. So yeah, we're going to get a shot of that. I'm shooting this one not so magnified, so what I need to do is change the focus distance on the lens, and I'm currently in S macro because I was doing close-up macro stuff, and I'm just going to change it to the very far one, which goes from 0.25 meters to infinity. I like to use the focus clutch on this lens to initially set the focus on my lens, and then what I do is push the clutch forward once I'm happy, and then I can use focus bracketing on my camera then. I'm going to be using focus bracketing, and because I don't have the flash turned on, it's actually just going to be completely silent, so you won't hear anything when I'm taking this picture. And the reason I'm using focus bracketing is because I have the option to focus stack later on, or I can just come away with a single image if I want to. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that shot. I don't really think I like it, but I'm really glad I photographed it because when I was photographing it, I noticed a blue damselfly down here further in the grass. So we're going to use these scissors to cut the grass off, and then we'll take it out the river to photograph it. Right, so I've got the damselfly on this blade of grass here, and I'm just holding my hand underneath while I walk out the river because I might drop in the water accidentally, and I don't want to do that. So what I've done here is use both the helping hands to hold the grass that the damselfly is on. That just means the grass doesn't blow around at all in the wind, because when I was using one, the grass was blowing around like crazy, which meant it was really hard to get a shot. So now it's nice and stable. There is a little bit of wind blowing a damselfly, so I might have to wait a little bit for the wind to die down. And I've also placed my background card on the floor there to use as a background. The damselfly is staying nice and still. It does move about a little bit every now and then, so I might have to be a bit patient. and it looks really cool. It's got loads of dewdrops on it. It's a nice blue metallic color, and I think the name is a banded demoiselle. I might be wrong, so correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And for this shot, I'm going to get a portrait of just the face. I'm going to use the usual settings, so ISO 200, f8, 1/100 shutter speed, 1/64 on the flash. And then I think it's quite big, so I probably will only have to shoot about 1x magnification on this lens. If it was a really small damselfly, I might have to do 2x magnification. But this one is quite big, so 1x should be fine. Now I've finished getting the shot, I'm going to do the usual and put the subjects back where I found it. I'm not going to put it exactly where I found it, I'm just going to put it in some reeds down here somewhere and make sure there's no spiders that are going to eat it. So let's find a spot where there's no spiders. There we go, the damselfly's climbed on that blade of grass and it's now just chilling there. So we'll go back and grab our camera and find another subject. What I like about macro photography is that you don't have to travel far to get lots of shots. So I've only walked from that pylon over there, which is about 50 meters away. And I've got all the shots you've seen so far in this video, so about 5 or 6 shots. And I've still got quite a long way to walk, so yeah, let's go and find the next subject. I've been here for about 2 hours now, and the sun's got a lot higher in the sky, which means it's got a lot warmer. And that means the bugs are becoming a bit more active and not staying still as much. So I won't be able to get deep focus stacks as easily now, but I should be able to find the odd subjects that will stay still. I've just found a beetle on this white flower here, and I think it's a malachite beetle, if I remember correctly. So we'll get a shot of that. It is moving around a bit, so I probably won't be able to get a focus stack, but I'll be able to get a single shot nonetheless. I'm going to hold the plant as close as I can to the subject because that makes it a lot more stable and a lot easier to photograph. The sun is shining on it, so I'm going to have to shade the subject with my body. I'm going to hold the subject closer to these stingers here so I can get some green in the background. Because if I hold it far away, I'm going to get a black background because the light from my flash is not hitting the background. But because the stingers are closer to my flash now, the light is also hitting the stingers, which illuminates the background. My original plan was to just get single shots because the beetle was moving about, but as I was photographing it, I noticed it stays still every now and then, so I decided to try and get a focus bracket. Not sure if it'll turn out well, but I'll attempt stacking it later on and see how it goes. And that seems to happen quite a lot when I'm photographing subjects. I'll be photographing something that's moving around quite a lot, and then all of a sudden it will just stop moving, and it'll give me the perfect opportunity to get a detailed focus bracket. I just found a fly that's been taken over by fungus, and my camera's got a really low battery that I'm filming on right now, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to capture me photographing it, but I'm going to get a photo nonetheless. As you can see, I'm wearing my POV camera. It's the DJI Pocket 3, and it has actually got quite a good battery life, but I've been filming a lot longer than usual today, and I forgot to bring my battery handle, which I take out every single time I go out to film videos. So yeah, the one time I actually need the battery handle, I forget it. We're going to focus well before anything's in focus, and then press the shutter to start a focus bracket. And yeah, that's the easiest shot I got today. The bug wasn't moving around at all, obviously, because it's dead. So it made it 10 times easier to photograph. If anyone knows how the flies end up like this, let me know down in the comments because I can't remember. I think I'm going to end today's video here. Hopefully you enjoyed this POV style video. Let me know if you want more videos like this. And as always, the equipment I use will be linked down below in the description. And those are affiliate links. So if you buy through them, I'll get a small commission and no extra cost for you, which will help support the channel. So if you've enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.